Everyone has an idea of what living in Connecticut is like. The peaceful shoreline, the charming New England towns, the great schools, the fall foliage. But then you move here and reality hits. Today we're going to talk about the biggest expectation versus reality checks people experience when they finally make the move to Connecticut. The good, the bad, and the nobody told me this until it was too late. Connecticut is one of those places that people either romanticize or completely misunderstand. And yes, I'm going to be very honest, and you're going to want to stick around to the end to find out the biggest disappointment when you move here. Expectation number 1. I'll live by the beach. Reality, I live near the beach, kinda. People see Connecticut on a map and go, oh, it's coastal. I can totally live by the water. Well, that's technically true. Realistically, first off, those waterfront homes are expensive. We're talking high flood insurance, elevated property taxes, aging 1950s beach cottages priced like luxury homes. And the best part is you buy one of those expensive homes and then right next door to you is a dump that hasn't been fixed up in 50 years. And not to mention, people completely misunderstand the Connecticut shoreline. Almost our entire coast sits on Long Island Sound, which means Long Island acts as a barrier to the open Atlantic Ocean. That being said, our waters are more tranquil and usually you don't see waves unless there's a storm coming. It's still beautiful and you can enjoy most water sports except probably surfing. But at the end of the day, most people living in Connecticut end up living in a perfectly nice inland town and just visit the beach on the weekends, which is still great and relatively close since our state is so small. It's usually maybe an hour to an hour and 15 minutes at most from anywhere you live in Connecticut to get to a beach. Expectation number 2, the commute won't be that bad. Reality, it's rough. And again, it's something people completely underestimate. Sure, Connecticut is small, but getting around is anything but fast. I-95 and the Merritt Parkway are basically a parking lot during peak times. And don't get me started on the Merritt Parkway. Yes, it is beautiful, but it's very unpredictable. They have abrupt merging and stop signs where you're trying to enter the highway and nobody lets you in. And there's several areas that are curvy, and there's low-lying areas where water likes to accumulate. Needless to say, all of this combined makes it not the greatest place to be during peak commuter times. And Metro North can be useful, but they do have delays, especially in the winter. And the back roads get clogged near schools and town centers, and never mind if there's an accident on any of the major highways. Because Waze will have everyone and their mother going the same way through the narrow roads with all the trees hanging over and all the stop signs, and just forget it. And then there's those people that move here and think, I live in Fairfield County, which is super close to New York. I can drive into the city in a little over an hour, no problem. Sure, it might be less than 50 miles away, but nope. It can take you several hours to get into the city, unless you leave at 5 a.m. So if you are moving here, make a dry run before you buy, or ask local people how long it takes to get somewhere. You may be surprised at the answers. Reality is, if you choose your town based on commute fantasies, then you're gonna regret it. If you choose it based on lifestyle, the commute becomes manageable, especially when you know the expectations. Another thing people think is the weather won't be that bad. The reality, the weather has some serious mood swings here in Connecticut. To put it politely, Connecticut weather has range. People expect cute snowfalls and crisp autumns, the perfect 4 seasons. Reality? You get 50-degree temperature swings on a daily basis in the spring and fall. As Mark Twain once said, if you don't like the weather in New England, just wait a few minutes. It truly is that temperamental. Just a couple weeks ago at the end of October, it was 41 day and literally 80 degrees the next. And in the winter, nor'easters hit hard. The wind is blowing and the snow is accumulating fast. It can knock out power and make driving very treacherous. Not to mention, black ice is everywhere. Roads, driveways, walkways. It gives the impression that it's dry, but it's not. The other thing we do is get random late March and April snowstorms after you've already put away all your winter coats. And just when your daffodils are peeking out of the ground, that's when it hits. But on a positive note, fall can be spectacular here in Connecticut. So that is one expectation, and that actually lives up to the hype. Another thing people think, every Connecticut town has that classic New England vibe. Reality? Some do, some don't. When people think Connecticut, they picture historic town greens, farmers markets, independent bookstores, cute coffee shops, pretty downtowns. And yes, we do have some of that in places like Madison, Milford, Essex. But the reality is Connecticut also has more 1960s strip malls than you can count. Many towns don't even have a real downtown area. But the truth is, you'll drive long stretches, like on the Post Road, which basically runs the length of southern Connecticut. And all you'll see is a 2-lane highway with countless ugly strip malls, fast food chains, a million nail places, storage units, and Dunkin' Donuts. Unfortunately, many suburbs here were built to be car fast, not pedestrian friendly and walkable. People think of the Hallmark movies where it's a quaint town and everything is walkable, and then they realize that the new town they moved into has no character and lacks any designated areas for you to safely walk in and out of town. So the expectation is Stars Hollow. The reality depends heavily on your zip code. Expectation: I'll save money compared to New York or Boston. But the reality is, yes, but with an asterisk. People moving from many major cities in the U.S. think Connecticut will feel more affordable than where they're coming from. Think Manhattan, Boston, San Francisco. And yes, Connecticut is a financial sigh of relief. But here's the reality. Property taxes are some of the highest in the country. Utility costs are more than people expect. And if you plan on living in the shoreline, you'll have a shocking flood insurance bill. And don't get me started on car taxes, because that surprises literally everyone. You may own a 10-year-old sedan and still have to pay $500 a year for your motor vehicle tax. So yes, you may save on the house price depending on where you're coming from, but you spend it in other ways. So yes, while it can be cheaper than some cities, I wouldn't say it's cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Another expectation is I'll have tons of space. But in reality, maybe, but not the picture in your head. Most people move to Connecticut for more space, let's be honest. And yes, you will get more square footage than you would if you, say, bought in Brooklyn. But here's the reality. Many Connecticut neighborhoods have small yards. Very small, depending on where you live. Some homes sit close together and you can practically touch your neighbor's house. And now for the interior space. Older homes in Connecticut have chopped up floor plans, smaller rooms, and little to no closet space. And basements aren't always usable. Everyone assumes you have a finished basement here in Connecticut, but most likely you don't. And it's going to cost you a pretty penny to get that basement renovated so it's waterproof and stink-proof before you can use it. And we've finally gotten to that one expectation that nobody really tells you about. People think, we're near New York. Things must be open late or all night. The reality is, restaurants close kitchens by 9 p.m., coffee shops close mid-afternoon, and stores just close earlier than you think. New Yorkers and transplants from other major cities really struggle with this one. I had clients tell me once that they tried to go buy ice cream at about 9:45 at night, and everything was closed, even the gas station. Yep, grocery stores do close early, and you'll really need to search to find a 24-hour anything. A CVS, a gas station, maybe a diner is open all hours of the day and night. But that's about it. Connecticut is not, I repeat, not a late night state. So that's the truth about living in Connecticut. Sure, some expectations do hold up, but Many crumble by the wayside. But if you go in with your eyes open and you pick the right town based on your lifestyle, Connecticut can be one of the best places to live. Drop a comment below. What surprised you about living in Connecticut? And hit the subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of my great Connecticut content. If you're looking to move here or anywhere in the country, I'm connected with a wonderful network of really capable realtors, so please reach out. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.